There's nothing more frustrating in a Medicare agent's day-to-day than somebody telling you, you know what, I don't really want that product. Well, I got good news for you. We run into that every day, and we know how to overcome that. And so today what we're going to talk about is how to sell someone who doesn't want drug coverage. We've seen this time and time again. We've seen the customer who doesn't take any prescriptions, they don't take any medicines, or they only take one and it's cheaper for them to just not have coverage. Ultimately, like, what do I do there? How do I help them? And it can be a little bit of a bummer because you get all excited. You're building this package for this customer and you're getting them everything ready. Your presentation's good to go. And then they hit you with this, I don't want drug coverage. And it's not even really like that's a huge commission hit unless you're selling Medicare Advantage plans. And even in that situation, not a huge commission hit, but it can take extra revenue off the table and it can be a bummer to your presentation and it ultimately can lead to less credibility and less urgency. So we want to take this and turn it into control for us. What are you going to bring up when someone says, hey, I don't want drug coverage. I don't want to worry about that. I don't want drug coverage. Well, one thing that we're going to do that's a less like orthodox like approach in this industry than you hear is a lot of times we are going to look to get a $0 drug plan. So a $0 PDP. We actually like doing this. And let me say this, there's sometimes we would even recommend somebody going and applying for a $0 drug plan that's non-commissionable. Now, we don't fill that application out for them. We don't like to take on that business, but if that does help them, then we will help them get through that. We'll give them advice on how to do that application. Now, why are we doing that? Why would we suggest this to somebody? Well, first things first, it's going to solidify our relationship. It's going to solidify our relationship. This person's really going to trust me. This beneficiary is going to trust me even more once they find out, like, hey, you can get this drug plan for $0 and I'm not really getting paid for it. They really love that. That's a big deal. Now, let me say this. We don't like making this a habit unless we can turn it into something that generates revenue. Just to be honest with you, we're in the business of building a business. We got to sell things that make us money. If they don't make the business money, then nobody makes money. The only reason we're going to do this is because we're solidifying the relationship and it opens up cross-sell opportunity. It opens up cross-sell opportunity. What do I mean by that? Well, if I have somebody who doesn't want a prescription drug plan, but I talk them into getting a $0 plan, I now can have a conversation about their $2,100 drug max out of pocket. That's not something they were worried about if they didn't get a drug plan, and it kind of puts a damper on some of our cross-sell opportunity, maybe cancer, heart attack, and stroke. But if they do get a drug plan, well, guess what? Now I can bring up the $2,100 max out of pocket, and that will help me sell additional products. So we definitely want to bring this up. This is something that we can do. Hey, a $0 drug plan may be something that you can enroll into, and we can use that to cross-sell other items. We love doing that with our internal LOA team. Something else that we use is we create urgency. We create urgency using enrollment periods. Create urgency using enrollment periods. If somebody doesn't want a drug plan, I got to create urgency somehow, right? I have IEP. That's my initial enrollment period. That's the time frame that I can enroll into a drug plan, and that's only a 7-month window that they can do that. 3 months before my 65th birth month, the month of my 65th birthday, and then 3 months after. Outside of that, I can enroll. And what happens is, over time that I don't have a drug plan, I'm going to accrue a late enrollment penalty for my prescription drug plan. What that means is that every month that your customer does not have a drug plan, they're going to accrue a late enrollment penalty. And every month, that is 1% of the national average of a drug plan. And you can accrue up to 10% a year. So if your customer goes 4 years with no drug plan, and then all of a sudden they get put on Eliquis, and now they need a drug plan, they're going to pay 40% of the national average for a drug plan on top of what their drug plan premium would be. You can see people end up paying an extra $80 to $100 a month if they don't have this. So it's very easy to create urgency using the enrollment periods, And then, of course, using the unknown, Right now, Betty doesn't take anything, right? Doesn't take anything right now. But what happens when Betty starts taking, maybe something like a congestive heart failure medication, or maybe they start taking something for dementia. Maybe they start taking something for AFib. Maybe they start taking something for cancer. These are all things that can add up very quickly. And I want my customer to be prepared for that, and I want them to be handled with care. If they get diagnosed with something like this and they start taking medicines for it, I want their experience to be great. And if I do not have that conversation right now about why they should consider this coverage, that can come back to look bad on me even a year or two from now. Maybe they're like, why didn't you suggest this? Even though they're the ones that told you they did not want that coverage. So we want to make it an effort, we want to make it a habit of suggesting this stuff because of the unknown, because of late enrollment penalties, and also the opportunity. The reason I'm doing any of this, honestly, is that it does bring up opportunity to generate revenue, not just on the drug plan, but on the cross-sell products as well. And we love using it to do that. You can make a lot of money if you learn how to close these people who do not want drug coverage, and it will make you the best Brock partner you could be.